Are Josh Giddey and the Chicago Bulls set to end their standoff? Brett Sigel seems to believe so. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, hosted by Hayes, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. We got an update from Brett Sigel in regards to Josh Giddey and the Chicago Bulls ending their standoff, saying this. This comes from Brett Sigel, by the way. Josh Giddey and the Chicago Bulls are expected to reach a resolution on a new contract, likely in the 3-year range by the end of August. The Bulls could increase their offer, but they have stood firm on keeping a new deal in the $20 million range. The latest speculation from agents not involved in negotiations suggests something in the $65 to $70 million range. Now, this is quite a change, and this is kind of the most forward progress that we've heard from the Bulls and Josh Giddey in a minute. So seemingly the Chicago Bulls are staying on their evaluation of around $20 million. Now, if it ends up being more 3 years, $70 million, that gets them a little bit over the $20 million standpoint, and I think that that's a fair contract, right? It comes down to it. I'm feeling probably, if it's going to be around what I'm thinking, probably about 3 years, 73-ish million, 72-ish million is probably a fair value on that contract. And what that does for the Chicago Bulls is that it gives the Bulls 3 years to evaluate Josh Giddey. It gets Josh Giddey back out on the free agent market by the time he's 25, 26 years old. And at that point, if based off 3 years, if Josh Giddey plays at the level that he has talked about that he believes that he can play at, there's going to be a max level contract there for Josh Giddey. I feel like I get it. It's an undercut. But I think, like, because it's not as many years, and it does give Josh Giddey an opportunity to get back out there on the market sooner rather than later, that it makes a little bit of sense for this on both sides. And I still would love to see them meet somewhere more towards the middle of it. But I feel like that's probably a fair market deal. Now, for what it's worth, we haven't seen Casey Johnson or any Bulls insiders really report on this as of yet. And so we'll see how that ends up shaking out when it comes down to it. But as free agency goes on, and as both these sides want to get a deal done so that you can just focus on attacking the season, this type of deal does make some sense, I think, for both sides. It's going to be a bit of an undercut. Josh Giddey stands are not going to like this deal, but it is what it is when it comes down to it, and we'll see what happens here. Are we finally getting to the finish line? Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Finally, agree with you 100%, Cannon. Let's just get to the finish line and we can focus on other things. Watch Slice, pay him, and let's focus on the season. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. Jerry says 3 is good. I think 3 years is good too. 3 years makes some sense. It makes sense for both sides. It means that, Josh Giddey isn't going to have to sit in 5 years and be, towards the end of his prime before he can get another deal. He gets back out in free agency early, and the Bulls get a few years to look at this. And that would also coincide with, this is another underrated aspect of it, 3 years will coincide the contract with when Matas Buzelis' contract comes up. And he's due for his extension. So that would kind of put them on a similar path as far as, listen, if the Bulls really believe that Matas Buzelis is going to turn into a star-level player, it avoids you locking in big money deal. And then by the time Matas is up for that contract extension, you could take a look and survey where the entire team is. And maybe, who's to say, maybe you need a different type of point guard by the time Matas Buzelis is up for his contract extension. So the more and more I think on this deal, the more and more it makes sense for where the Bulls stand at. And if Josh Giddey accepts it, it is what it is. And we'll see what happens with that one. Rob says 3 years is perfect. Taxon says 3 years is what I would have offered. Fair. So it seems like everybody's kind of liking the 3-year mark, and I think that's a fair market value. How much of the possible $70 million is incentive based, I wonder? You know what? That's a great question, because especially with it being a shorter term contract, right? If the Bulls do make that incentive laden deal, maybe you can get it up as far as $75 million. Maybe you can get it something. I don't know the rules on how much incentives can get you on top of the deal, but we'll see what happens there. Jerry says give him 65. Cool. So Giddey's contract in when Billy contract in. Oh, you know what? You may actually have just done something there because, well, no, because Billy Donovan got a 3-year extension on his deal, which means he's technically here for 4 more years because he already had 1 year left. But it does put you in a point where everything is up. Billy Donovan's up around that time. Matas Buzelis is up for a contract extension around that time. AK and Eversley, their deals run out around that time, about a year afterwards. So it's a potential to kind of have alignment with a lot of the big decisions that you have to make on this roster over the next couple of years. So that's a really good point. Really, really good call out there. I would have given him 5 years, $135 million deal, but it is what it is. And listen, I understand where you're coming from with that, but we'll see. Why do stands care so much about the exact dollar of Giddey? Y'all boys acting like you getting a cut. That is hilarious. That is funny. That's not a bad deal. Now let's get to work on Bulls Nation. Prove yourself, Giddey. Then you will get that big bag. And yeah, I mean, it is very much you have a long runway to prove yourself now, right? And if Josh Giddey is as confident in what he can do, I mean, again, yes, you would probably want your money now, but think about it this way. Like if you, 3 years, you're 22 years old, you'll be 25 by the time you sign your next contract. And if you sign a full 5-year deal, that could take you to your 30. And so, you know, it brings some alignment there. It makes some sense there. They're really going to pay for this. And listen, Bobby, that's Josh Giddey's job. Josh Giddey's job is to whatever the contract length that he signs is, by the end of that contract, make the Chicago Bulls pay and say and have the ability to say, hey, you remember when you only offered me 20? Now I want my full max. I'm not taking a contract. I'm not taking a team friendly deal. I mean, and if he does it, great. To be honest, I think Matas is our franchise player. He could be, but he's not that yet. Matas has not shown enough yet to be a franchise player. And believe me, I believe in the hype of Matas Buzelis as well. I think that Matas is going to be really good, but he has a lot in his game that he has to prove before he can be a franchise player. I think a lot of people view Matas who they think he can be and ignore who he currently is. And he has some major flaws to his game as it stands right now. Now, he's the type of worker that, and he cares so much about basketball that I trust he's going to figure it out, but he's not there yet. He has a lot to get to before he can figure it out there yet. Melvin, finally, I actually like the type of realistic deal. Now we can move on. Do you think Acme's leading towards next season to make big moves? I mean, that's what Acme said. He said give him till the 2026 offseason. So, you know, we'll see. And I think the way that I look at it is this. The Bulls, no matter what they sign Giddey to, still have tons of flexibility next season, right? Because basically half your roster is expiring contracts. So if Josh Giddey proves to be a stud, if Kobe and Josh Giddey prove to be the backcourt that they finish the season on, if Matas takes another step, then that gives you a more of a runway for AK to go out there and to put, like, look at it this way. If Kobe and Giddey do end up working out, that's your backcourt. You don't have to worry about it. That's an if right now, but if it's your backcourt. If Matas Buzelis takes another step, that's your power forward or your small forward. You still expect Noah Essengate to be part of it. So what then do you need to focus on? Getting the right role players in here and getting that defensive big that you need to make this system look the best. And you can put all the chips in the corner and go and find that guy. So, you know, we'll see. $24 million is MLE money in a few years. That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, in a few years, I love that you pointed that out, and you're not wrong on that one. Do you think that third year might be a player option? It could be. And, you know, if it is a 2+1, I think that's the Bulls basically saying, all right, Giddey, listen, we know that you're not getting the contract that you want. 2 years. And then we got you. Show us what you can do in 2 years. And if you don't show it, you can opt into that third year, and then we'll see where we are at the end of that. Maybe. If Matas and Giddey both commanded max deals, would they possibly hinder us? This could be backfire bad, right? Here's the thing, is that's so far out, and the salary cap extends. Like, the Bulls, if they're smart, they can make everything align with that. Like, if the Bulls are really smart, the two contract links that they should be signing at are when Matas is up for his extension and around the time Noah's up for an extension. That way, it gives you benchmarks and basically saying, all right, we have this pivot point by time Matas's extension is up. We can double down on whatever we feel like where we are at that point in time. We have another out period at the time Noah's up for an extension. And I think that that's the way that you can align it. It just, the Bulls right now have so much flexibility financially that they can, as long as they think ahead and plan, there's nothing that really hinders you, because you have financial flexibility out. Everything is flexible right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you see even Ayo and Kobe sign 3-year deals, right? And that puts them at that inflection mark around Noah. So we'll see what happens there. Hey, Hayes, Locked on Bulls is the GOAT Sport Podcast. Best ever. Go Bulls Nation. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. This is just right now, it's just expected. Nothing's announced. When it's official, the title will be breaking news. So right now, even if you see in the thumbnail, it says contract rumors. I've tried to do a better job. One thing that I've had to realize this, and this isn't to sound cocky, but the one thing that I've had to realize is that with this platform growing, I have to word things very intentionally, because if I word things weird or not clear, people take it as, oh, then that must happen. Now, that just says that I've earned a lot of people's respect, and I appreciate that. But when I put rumors in the thumbnail, it means that right now it's not confirmed. So that's the way that you can take it. When it's confirmed, I'll put news. That's the way that I've separated things now. Rumors means talk, but not confirmed. If you see news in the title, that means it's confirmed and that it's happening. So that's the way that you can expect it around here. That at least I'll do it here at Bull Central. I like AK's conservative approach to giving Giddey a contract he deserves. I mean, and it could be that, we shall see how it continues to grow. I saw Giddey putting in that work. He shows consistency with the 16, 7, and 8. He Gucci, nothing to worry about, and have plenty of flexibility in the future. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. What is the expected amount per? To go back to the report from Brett Sigel, something between $65 to $70 million range on the deal. So do that math. So Giddey and his defense stats, you had an episode on, they used as leverage to get done now. I mean, hey, they could be. Giddey's defensive stats actually aren't as bad as what people think that they are. Like, when you go and look at Giddey on ball, you start seeing that he's a player that I think is starting to understand how to use his size to guard guards, especially in the mid-range and the paint. Perimeter is still a struggle for him, but, we'll see. He's 22 years old. We'll see how it works out. Makes me feel good to hear what you said about the rumor next year plans, if true, for 2026. I know I have no choice but to anyways, but in my mind, I'm willing to give Acme another chance to get it right. I mean, listen, once they signed their contract extension, to me, my mind shifted from, all right, what do you now do with this new lease on life? You changed your direction. Do you now build a team that's more, that fits better? Because you now have that opportunity. We'll see if they can. I'm not going to say that they absolutely will. I'm not going to say that they absolutely won't. You have an opportunity to go out and show it. And I guess we'll see what happens at that point. Hayes, can Ayo get that starting small forward spot? I know it's been between him, Herter, and Okoro. I mean, he has a good chance than anybody else. My personal belief is that they probably, with the way that starting five of Giddey, Kobe, Herter, Matas, and Vooch played last year to end the season, they're probably going to want to try to give them another opportunity. But who's to say? If Ayo comes into training camp crazy, you just never know. Giddey's a good team defender. He's slow footy. And that's what I mean by learning to use his size. I think Giddey's learning how to use the strength that he has, especially over point guards. And keep in mind, in OKC, he didn't always just play point guard, but I think he's starting to understand how to better leverage that when he does kind of get beat on quick first steps. It's still not perfect, but there are some encouraging analytics to look at that point towards he may be starting to slowly kind of figure some things out there. Giddey legit tried and played better defense that second half. Facts. And hopefully he realizes the effort they like. A lot of defense. This is the thing, and this is why I hate lazy defense, because I think you could become a decent defender just off effort, right? Now, to be a lockdown defender, you need some size, and you need wingspan, and you need some high defensive IQ. But I think to just be a solid team defender, a lot of it just comes down to effort. And so when a player's willing to give that effort, I think they can become a good enough defender. I don't know why, but I think Dalen and Julian are going to be the most improved players on this team. Hey, Reginald, hopefully. If they can, great. They'll have an opportunity. There's going to be more competition now for them to get into the rotation than ever before. But if they can, shout out to them if they do it. Hayes, who do we think AK is realistically going after in 26 free agency he's talked about? Well, keep in mind, he said that the offseason of 26. And you don't have to, all cap space doesn't mean going after a free agent. It can mean going after a trade, right? Maybe you're going after a player that's been disgruntled. Maybe you take advantage of a team that wants to reset its roster and trade one of their better players, and you can absorb most of that, so then they don't have to take back a lot of bad salary, and you can then send them a draft pick, right? So there's a lot of different ways you can use cap space. I don't know if it's just about the free agency, but I think it's about the flexibility that it gives them to be a little bit more aggressive, is what I think that they're lining themselves up for. No lie, Kobe and Giddey is a backcourt. Guards are backcourt, not front court, but you're definitely right there. You're definitely right. Excited for game day, post-game lives again, man. Hey, you and me both, bro. Like, you and me both. It should be fun. Should be fun. But all right, y'all, that is my time for today. I wanted to give this update as soon as I saw it. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm out of practice. See, this is how you know I'm out of practice. I usually have it ready to go. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.